Hey guys, so today I want to talk about an experience that I've had and kind of, I guess, speak broadly of how I would interpret that experience. So when I was 15 years old, I was given the Stanford Bennett Intelligence Test. And I'm not going to say what my score was because only assholes say what their IQ score is, but I did, let's just say, more than a deviation above average, which is kind of ironic because, well, and I think I've mentioned this in another video, when I was in preschool, I was almost held back for essentially what would be considered lack of social development. And I think this brings up kind of a point that because you're smart in one aspect, does that mean you're not smart in others? So the Stanford Bennett, like most intelligence tests, it really only measures a certain aptitude in people. Essentially, uh, reasoning, pattern recognition, some memorization, general knowledge. But, and I'm going to borrow an idea, of course, this isn't original. Maybe there are different types of intelligence. So, this idea is actually from a psychologist, Howard Gardner, who in 1983 wrote a book called Faces of Mind, The Theory of Multiple Intelligences. And in the book, he proposes that there are 8 types of intelligence. Now, probably post a graphic there. I'm not going to go through all of them. This idea, the study behind it and the theory isn't really rigorously backed up by science, but I think we can kind of see some evidence in it. And I think for the purposes of primarily education, it's very useful. But I actually think it's also useful in explaining other things. So, in our society, we value a particular type of intelligence and we label it as such. We value the other ones, but we don't really refer to them as intelligence. What we value is logic and reasoning skills, pattern recognition, and verbal and reading, and I guess you could say reading skills. But what about interpersonal skills? What about those people who have a certain level of self awareness? What about people who just seem to have an awareness of their body and physicality? According to Howard Gardner, those are types of intelligence. So, what I'm going with this is that there are people that we see and we say that these people are dumb. Now, as the title of this video suggests, there are a lot of Americans who will say Donald Trump is stupid. And then there are Americans who will say that Kim Kardashian is stupid. And there are Americans that will say George W. Bush is stupid. Now, you can also find people who call anybody stupid. There'll be people out there who'll say that Albert Einstein was stupid. But it's easy, you can find plenty of people who say, well, Trump is stupid. And if you were alive during administration, it was like a game to point out all of the verbal gaffes of George W. Bush. But I am, I guess I'm going to say that no, there are plenty of millionaires, but not all of them get to become president, even if they want to. So what Trump does is he has a certain interpersonal skill. I'm not saying he's a good person. I'm not saying that he's an honest person, and I'm not even saying that most people know him, find him likable. But what he can do is that he can zero in on what people want to hear and tap into that. And that's something a lot of people can't do. I think the same thing with George W. Bush, and I think that Kim Kardashian has a skill of kind of like, I guess, in a way of reading the culture and tapping into that. Now, when I say these things, I'm not saying any judgment of what they are as people, but I'm saying that they have a certain skill and a certain intelligence that even though it doesn't translate to being able to figure out equations or do physics or engineering, it is a type of intelligence. So to say that these people are dumb, I think what we're doing is we're underappreciating a true form of intelligence, because if you put me in front of a crowd, and you guys can probably figure this out if you've watched enough of my videos, I'm not going to be able to perform like Donald Trump. I'm not going to be able to remember people's names as well as George W. Bush was able to. And I'm not going to be able to, I guess, read the zeitgeist like Kim Kardashian and influence people. So quit calling these people dumb. They're not dumb. You can have whatever opinion you want of them personally, but I wouldn't call them dumb. And maybe the larger thing we should say is maybe we need to start valuing or recognizing other types of intelligence, because, well, not only are they present, but as you can see, they're actually pretty useful. And I'll say that, Donald Trump would not be president if he was not a millionaire. And Donald Trump wouldn't be president if he couldn't tap into a certain, let's just say, less than desirable feeling amongst certain people in the country. But the fact that he can do it, I think it does show a certain skill that he possesses, a certain type of interpersonal intelligence. Thank you.